What's up, Don Mafia? Welcome back to my channel. Today I'm gonna do a story time on the time that I let I want to say love, but it might have just been lust, steer me down the wrong path, a very scary path. I was, what was it, 2 years ago maybe? So I was 21 at the time, I think. I had booked the flight to go somewhere, and I didn't tell anyone but the person I was going to see and my closest friend at the time. I didn't want to tell anyone because I didn't want anyone to talk me out of doing it. I was at that I'm grown, I could do what I want stage in life, you know. If you're my age now, like I said, I'm 23, or even if you're like 18, even 16-year-olds sometimes, I mean, you know how we get caught up in the I'm grown, I can do what I want type of phase. Yeah. Listen to your elders, okay? Listen to the people around you. Just pay attention, because there's so much that people are teaching you. And yeah, you can still make mistakes and you can still learn on your own, but avoid some mistakes by just listening, okay? That's something that I learned throughout this. But so I got dropped off at the airport. Like I said, no one knew, and I was about to board the plane, but mind you, about a day or two before the person that I was gonna see, me and them got into it, and they were saying you might as well not even come anymore. And I'm like, well, I already booked my flight. Like, we're not gonna let this little argument stop, you know, me from coming down there. So I was just like, I'm going, whatever. Didn't think the person would be that petty. So when I was getting ready to board the plane, I was trying to reach out to the person, and the person was not responding, but they were on Twitter and they were saying things and, you know, just clearly ignoring me. But I'm like, you know what? I don't know why, but I was just like, maybe if I get there and be like, I'm here, the person will snap out of it or whatever. And so I got on the plane. I was terrified. It was my first time flying on my own. Yeah, my first time flying on my own. So I had these two males next to me, both Caucasian, older men, and I told them that I was afraid, and I was sitting in the middle of them, and they were like, oh, don't worry about it. Everything is fine, you know, like, we'll be okay. So they started the plane up, and instantly the power on the plane went out. So I was like, whoa, you know, that's weird. But me personally, never being on a plane before, I was like, should I panic or should I be like, you know, whatever. But the guys next to me were like, oh, you know, that just happens sometimes, it'll be okay. So I'm like, all right, trying not to think about it. It was hot. It was in like August, I think. And I was actually in college at the time, so I was going during a break that we had, I believe, or I was going for a weekend, one out of two. And so I was like, okay. So then they tried to start the plane again, and they let the battery run or charge for a minute, and then they tried to start the plane again, and it started, and they're like, okay, we're gonna get ready to go up in the air. I'm like, okay, whoo, you know, that's done and over with. And then the power went out again, and I was like, all right, this is getting creepy, you know. So they called another plane over to charge the plane that we were on, so that it can have enough power or whatever, hoping that they could still get it in the air. Now, a plane is nothing to play with, you know. I was confused as to why they were steady trying to get this plane into the air. But yeah, I just sat there because I was like, you know, what do I know? So they brought another plane, and the other plane was charging up this plane that we were on, and we were sitting there for maybe like 30 minutes, an hour. The flight was super delayed because we were still sitting in my location at the airport. They were bringing us water. The water was hot because there was no power, so everything was just, it was just terrible, you know. It was a terrible first experience. It was terrifying, and it was something that makes you feel like I'm never gonna get on the plane again. And then, like, I know some people probably thinking like, oh, she must have been on Spirit. I was on Delta, y'all. Delta Airlines. So I was just like, okay. So they charged up the plane for maybe like 30 minutes, turned it on. Everything seemed, I guess, okay to them. So they're like, all right, we're gonna get this plane up in the air. So as soon as we start getting ready for takeoff, everybody's buckled and everything, the power went out again. At that point, they were like, everybody off the plane. Now, everybody that was going there intentionally with a reason, you know, some of them had like business reasons, some of them lived there, some of them were going to actually see people that were answering their calls, you know, whatever. They ended up going on to another plane. I personally I really seen it as a sign from God. I'm like, this plane's battery failed 3 times. All 3 times we thought we were going to go in the air. We could have been in the air and the power could have died, causing us to be in a plane crash and possibly taking my life. It was a big eye-opener for me. It changed a lot. I was so furious with the person because when I finally made it home, after I had called my mom and my sister and told them the stupid thing that I was about to do, because I had the type of relationship with them. So it was like, I knew that I was making a stupid choice, and the whole thing scared me, that I knew that I had to tell them because it would be frightening for them as well. So when I finally got home, I told the person, like, you know, you were being a jerk, and I was about to go up into the air on a plane whose battery died 3 times in the process. And just that I could have simply lost my life. And it just really made me think, you know, a lot of times we go through life and God gives us signs and we ignore them because it could be something, you know, little, or something that, you know, didn't really smack us in the face for us to, you know, really understand what it is that he was trying to say. But this was, it was plain and clear. I mean, it was there. It was like, I'm not letting you go. I'm protecting you. And I will do whatever it takes to make sure that you are safe and you are okay. And that's when I knew it was time for me to look at life differently, because just as easy as it was, you know, for any plane to crash with anybody on there, that could have easily been me. But because I'm favored and God loves me, you know, he protected me. He watched over me. He made sure that no harm was brought upon me. So it would have been stupid of me to try to get on the other plane. I lost out on money. I was pretty upset about the money, but at the end of the day, you win some, you lose some. And I was just thankful that God spared my life, regardless of how much I spent on the ticket, regardless of how bad I wanted to go, and how envious I was at the time of just everything that happened. I was blessed that God spared my life. So it's like a lot of the times we focus so much on the things that we feel like aren't getting done, or the things that we want to see happen, not happening, you know? But if you just sit and think at how many times he spared you, and how many times he's made sure you made it home safely, or your children made it home safely, or your mother or your father made it home safely, it's just really an eye-opener. And I know some people question God when they lose someone close. Like, you know, I can't even imagine losing my parents or my siblings. I did lose one sibling, and it was something that I never experienced before. what made it worse was that we never were able to build that type of relationship that I wanted. And then sitting at the funeral and seeing this young life taken, and hearing that he was this and he was that and he was all these great things, really played a toll on my life. It actually put me into anxiety and depression. But everything works for a reason, you know. When I got into that state of mind, and I know I say a lot, I'm sorry y'all, but when you get so deep, you know, you just want to make sure that you think before you say things. I don't want you guys to take it wrong. You know, sometimes you just talk and things come out or are worded wrongly, so excuse my ums, but I'm gonna work on it. I'm getting better at this YouTube thing, okay? I'm gonna work on it. But yeah, so when you think about all the heartache and the hard times that you've been put through and everything like that, I know a lot of times we think that turning to alcohol and you know, drugs is the way to go, but honestly, it's like you can take a drink today, or you can take 10 drinks. You can drink a whole bottle. When you wake up tomorrow, that pain is still gonna be there. That headache or hangover that you have is gonna make the situation 10 times worse, and then you're just gonna keep doing these steps to continue to cope, and you don't realize how much money you spend on this stuff, and then it becomes a habit, and then it becomes something that you feel like you need. I eventually just got to the point that I felt like I needed God. You know, it didn't cost me to love him, and he already loved me back, so I didn't have to win his heart over. So the whole situation and everything that I've been through to this very point has definitely brought me closer to the Lord. And so when you question yourself and you say, why is this happening, or why does this happen, we can't really control things that happen. The reality is the enemy wants to take you out. He's your number one hater. Like my pastor said today, sometimes when you go through something, it's just because the Lord is bragging on you. He's just showing how strong you are. He's just bringing you through something because he has greater coming for you. And you know, with every level that you take, there's going to be something new. That's just like playing a game, for example. Every level that you went to, it didn't get easier. It got harder. There was new obstacles. There was new roads. There was new ways. There was new this. There was new people trying to attack you. It was always something. And you can relate that to your life. When you are growing and you are, you know, doing whatever you're doing in life, you're pursuing your dreams, you're working hard to, you know, get closer to Christ, whatever it is that you're trying to do, there's always going to be a hurdle that the enemy may throw at you. And whatever the enemy sends your way for bad, God always turns it to good. I just wanted to be able to share this with somebody else who feels like they're lost in life, or you know, they don't really know what's going on, or they don't know what they should do next. Seek God if you haven't already, and then let him lead you from there.